Today I want to answer the question, how do we actually raise our frequency? How do we evolve our consciousness? This is a question that many people keep asking, or you might be asking it in a different way, like, how can I feel better? How can I be more happy? How can I be more at peace or have more joy and love in my life? Which is kind of the same thing actually. And the very first thing that I want to mention is that we really have to take into account here, we have two selves. And we need to always remember that. So we are a human consciousness in a body, but we are actually a soul. So we are our soul, our higher self, and we are our human self, together in one body. And they both influence us. They both talk to us. The higher self talks in a very quiet whisper, and the human self, the ego self, speaks very loudly and wants to get its way. And so that's one characteristic already that we can use to find out, where am I living from right now? And this is why this channel is called Living Life from Love, because this exercise is essential if you actually want to live your life from love, peace, joy, happiness, expansion, freedom, beauty, and all those good things. You need to become aware where you are living from and what you need to do in order to live more from your higher self or your soul. So your ego self is the self that is there to give us a separate experience as our individualized human being. Because of that, we look at other people and we see the separation there. We feel different from them. We can see that they are different from us. And we are all mingling with thousands of people in our life who are all different to us. And that ego self experiences itself like as if it was in a container, a bubble. And it feels separate from the big ocean of love that it is actually living in. So the ego mind is always perceiving itself separate and in this enclosure. I mean, I like the metaphor of being the little raindrop or the water drop in the ocean. That's the ego self. And because the water drop has its own membrane, it is so strong for the ego's perception that it does believe I am separate, and therefore I need to get love and joy and interaction and praise and all the good things that a human being likes to have from the outside world, from other people, or from gaining certain situations, climbing up the career ladder, getting some amazing doctors in front of you, doctor titles in front of your name, whatever you like. But the higher self doesn't need anything because it is completely connected and living from the infinity of our true self. That is love, truth, and joy, and peace, and expansion, and all those good things, because the soul is residing in that realm. It never leaves that. And a part of that soul is actually anchored in our hearts, and therefore we have a connection to it. Most of our soul is residing above our head. I don't know how high it is, but we can always connect with it though. So in order to raise your frequency or your vibration, you have to become lighter, take everything more with ease, and let go of your past baggage, basically. And you have to become lighter also in joy. The more joy you have, the lighter you are, and the less baggage you're carrying from the past, the lighter you are. And the more you are embracing life as it comes to you. So no more resistance, no more battling against life, no more blaming or making people wrong or not liking it. None of that will ever help you. It will actually lower your vibration. And this is actually a task that I always look out for when whatever happens in life. How am I reacting or responding to that experience? And that's your giveaway. That shows you where you are on the ladder of consciousness. Are you reacting with anger or with fear? Are you feeling guilt or shame? Those are very low emotions and vibrations. But if you're responding with neutrality, with allowing it to be as it is, with peace and taking it easy, being flexible, or even with love, then you're coming from the higher vibrations and you're not battling with life anymore. So that is a very, very important aspect if you want to raise your consciousness. And by the way, if you are new to my channel, I am Carolina Cummins. I am an energy healer, a spiritual guide, and a self-love mentor. And I'm here to assist you to really empower yourself, which means making your higher self stronger than your little human self. It means to move step by step out of the human ego and reconnecting more and more and more with your true higher self and become fully authentic and real. So one of the things that we must do if we want to live from our higher self is to live from love instead of fear or guilt or shame, sadness or anger. And we need to live from truth. There's no more telling little lies, no more conditional loving. I don't like you anymore because you did that now. None of that is actually part of the higher self. And it, of course, also embraces life as it comes, because it knows, life knows best. It has a bigger plan. And when we do that, we actually surrender and we sort of leave the ego mind more and more by making the decision or the intention, I want to surrender and follow and accept whatever life is bringing me. That's a very good beginning to come out of your ego self. So if you like what you've heard so far, please like my video and subscribe to the channel if you want to learn to live your life from love more and more. And if you really want to dismantle your own ego self and empower yourself more and moving towards the higher dimension, the fifth dimension, that the whole planet, by the way, is ascending towards now. And the more consciousness you have around that, and the more aware you are of what you're doing, how you're reacting, the further you go and the faster you will develop. So I have got 3 questions you can ask yourself when you are in a certain situation, that maybe gives you some upset or is uncomfortable, and it might give you some fear, or it's an ongoing uncomfortable situation for you. So there's the 3 questions, and you ask, so say you are feeling very uncomfortable, maybe even in pain, and you ask yourself, is that true? So you've got to uncover where that pain is coming from. And it's always coming from beliefs, perceptions, assumptions, and thoughts. And that's why you are feeling in pain. That's why you are not in comfort and you are in dis-ease. So question number 1, is it true what I am believing here or thinking or assuming? Question number 2, is it good for me? Does it feel good? Do I like doing this, having this, experiencing this? Is it uplifting? Does it make me feel expansive? Does it bring me peace or ease or joy? If it's just a thought or maybe it's an action, then ask yourself that question. And most of the time the answer is probably nope. And then the last question is it necessary that I am focusing on it? And this is the hardest, of course, because we are always programmed to use our senses and look outside with our eyes. This is what I've got, lack of this, lack of that, lack of this, lack of that, and therefore I'm unhappy. So if all these conditions weren't there, I would be happy. Yes, I understand that, and we've all done it. But if you want to upgrade your consciousness, and if you want to become happier, and you want to rise up in frequencies and in awareness and in consciousness, then you cannot spend time in that realm. You cannot focus on the lack consciousness, because lack consciousness does not come from your higher self. The higher self only knows abundance, right? Makes sense? And this is the most difficult task that we have to practice. And it takes sometimes years, but you've got to start sometimes, right? Why not now? And I've done this probably for decades, and it was very difficult to do when I was just beginning off, when I just turned 40. That's when I learned about this. And I couldn't really stay on the positive affirmations. I couldn't stay focused on, you know, what I really wanted. But I knew about the principles. I wanted to go from A to B, and I had to gap the bridge. And it took me like 20 years to get there. And that's okay. I never had any support. I didn't have any people in my life who are thinking that way, who are doing the same journey. I had to do it all by myself. And so I don't mind, you know, I'm getting there, and I'm almost there now. And therefore, I want to share this with you. I want to help you to shorten your journey. And so you're going to ask yourself, is this necessary to focus on that? Every time you catch yourself, oh, you're looking at the low bank account again, and that makes you feel low, right? And so instead, you can practice to focus on something else that's beautiful, peaceful, easy, uplifting. You can just go outside into nature, go for a walk, get your mind off that subject and tune into something more inspiring or uplifting. And if nothing works, you can have a nap, go to sleep, and that way you're always clear what is going on in your head, right? So you have got tools that you can use to help yourself. You need to be dedicated. And I know, allow yourself to fall, allow yourself to fail, because failure and getting things wrong doesn't actually exist. That's again an invention from the mind, the ego mind, that is comparing and judging and looking at everything separately. But the higher self and our true self is always embracing yourself as you are. There's no judging. You are allowed to learn, and you can take as long as you like. And when you are deciding and even becoming dedicated to getting out of that ego self and coming back home to your higher self, then I applaud you already now, because so many people, maybe half of the population, hasn't even thought about that. So you are already a step further on watching this video. Okay, I have actually created a self-love challenge that goes for 30 days, and it helps you to really focus on loving yourself more every day in a very simple way. So I'm going to give you 5 steps that you can do every day. I'm going to give you a checker that you can, every day you can check off which exercise you've done. You can see your progress. You are learning to create a new habit for yourself that's uplifting and helpful. And you are actually becoming more aware of when you are hanging out in that low vibrational self. And you're learning and really affirming that that I love myself, because that's a big practice of this. That you're really telling your unconscious mind, I love myself. And that will change a lot. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to leave the link below this video, and then make sure to also watch the next video. There will be more information for you necessary that I will have to select at the end of this. Okay, I wish you a beautiful day. Until next time. Bye for now.